Hey guys, PlumND with PhoneArena here, and welcome to our advanced tips and tricks video for the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus. By now, you probably got the hang of using your new phone, so let's dive in a little bit deeper and see some of its more intricate features. Before we begin, I'd like to mention that we've timestamped each tip and trick in this video for your convenience, so feel free to check out the description for a complete overview of the content. Now let's get down to business. Screen mode features several different options which can help you pick a color profile that suits your needs. Adaptive display is enabled by default, but the color temperature with this mode is a bit cold, which results in whites appearing bluer than intended. There is also a tendency for oversaturation all across the color scale here, so we recommend switching to the AMOLED photo mode. With this mode, colors aren't exactly true to life, but at least they're pleasantly vivid, with natural enough of a balance. Still, feel free to check out all the modes and see what works best for you. If you're making the switch from another brand or an older Samsung phone, you might need some time to get used to the edge panel of the S8. Of course, this feature is optional and can be turned off, but I find it to be quite useful as it offers easy access to various different tools in a quick way. You can access the edge screen section by going to Settings and then Display. There, you'll see two subsections: Edge Panels and Edge Lighting. Edge Lighting will light up the edges of the display when you get notifications, which can be a distraction, so I don't personally like to have it on. Tapping on Edge Panels reveals various different sections which can be enabled for your Edge panel. As you can see, there's a lot to choose from and these can be combined, while there's also the option to download more. Tapping on the three dots at the top right corner will lead you to the Handle Settings menu. There, you can tinker with the edge panel handle itself, which is this thing right here. You can change its position, size, and transparency. This is quite useful as when enabled, the handle is omnipresent on your screen. If that irritates you, you can make it super small and transparent, so you only have to remember where to swipe in order to access it. If you want to get the maximum out of your S8 for stuff like gaming, VR, or multimedia, you might want to check out the different performance modes located in the Device Maintenance tab of Settings. Optimized, the mode which is enabled by default, balances between providing good battery life and adequate performance for your day-to-day use. But you can also switch to gaming, entertainment, and high-performance modes which will boost things up a bit. Keep in mind that these modes will drain your battery faster, so don't keep them up for all day unless you have a charger nearby. High Performance mode will enable the maximum Quad HD resolution of the screen, so it's not really needed to access the dedicated tab from the display menu. However, if you want to see the different resolution options, you can always check it out. Your phone should be set to Full HD Plus by default, which is more than enough for your daily needs. If you're an Android user and haven't used a Samsung smartphone before, you might want to know that things here are done a bit differently when it comes to organizing and handling apps. For example, if you want to remove an app icon from your homepage, the typical way of dragging it to the top of the screen isn't employed here. Instead, you have to long press on the icon itself, which will trigger a menu to pop up. From there, you can remove the shortcut or uninstall the app altogether. You can also create folders. Just tap Select Multiple Items, choose whatever you want to be in the folder, and hit the Create Folder button at the top of the screen. A few more organization tips. You can arrange the icons on the app drawer to appear in alphabetical order. Just hit the three dots at the top right corner and select Sort. Also, if you don't want to have the shortcuts of freshly installed apps to appear on your home screen, go to Google Play, tap the three lines at the top left, select Settings, and toggle the Add App to Home Screen feature off. Download Booster is one of those features that Samsung has implemented on its phones for a long time, but a lot of people aren't even aware of its existence as it's not really promoted anymore. If you have a carrier plan with a lot of LTE data, I strongly advise turning Download Booster on. It uses LTE and Wi-Fi connections simultaneously in order to achieve really fast speeds when downloading files with a size over 30 megabytes. To enable it, go to Settings, Connections, and then More Connection Settings. Finally, toggle the function on. Please do this at your own risk, as you might run out of data if you're on a tighter plan. Rearranging the notifications or quick settings shade is one of those quality of life features that often remain overlooked. Sure, adding, removing, and moving around the various toggles there isn't a very exciting thing to do, but what you might want to pay attention to is the first 6 shortcut slots. If you put the shortcuts that you use the most there, they will appear in the mini quick settings shade that pops up with a single swipe down versus the full version which requires 2. In order to arrange these, swipe down twice from the top of your screen, hit the button order, long press and then drag an icon. Multi-window mode is nothing new for Android phones, but it's one of those things which I personally avoided using, as it just isn't that practical on smaller screens. However, the 5.8 and 6.2 inch display diagonals on the new Galaxy S flagships offer plenty of space for scaling 2 apps and using them side by side. A quick way to access this mode is by pressing the Recents button at the bottom of the screen. You'll see 2 icons next to the Close button. Choosing either one will enable multi-window mode, the difference being that the one on the left provides a cropping tool which pins your selection to the top of the screen, while the one in the middle splits the screen into equal parts. Furthermore, a long press on the Recents key while you're inside an app will also prompt the split screen to open. If by any chance you don't have these options available, this means that you have to enable multi-window modes from settings. This is done by going to Advanced Features and then Multi-Window. It's also important to note that you can move the middle bar up and down to adjust window size, while tapping on the bar itself reveals several different options. Here you'll see 2 new icons in addition to the ones we've discussed before. This one allows you to switch the windows, while the one to its right can shrink the app that you have on the screen. From there you can even minimize it, which will result in a floating icon that works very much like a chat head from Facebook Messenger. The Galaxy S8 pair are one of the first handsets employing the new Bluetooth 5.0 standard, which provides for some awesome audio features. Let's go to Settings, Connectivity and then Bluetooth to explore what we can do. Hitting the 3 dots at the top reveals 2 interesting options. The first, Dual Audio, allows you to play sound from your phone to 2 wireless devices at the same time. This means that you can do stuff like hooking up 2 wireless speakers for playing music in stereo, or connecting 2 headsets if you want to enjoy a movie with a friend while traveling. The second, Media Volume Sync, grants you the possibility of syncing the volume on your phone with the volume on your wireless device, which is great because usually gadgets like speakers and headphones have separate controls for that. Unfortunately, it's not possible for dual audio and volume sync to work together at the moment. Alright, so we can't finish things off without sharing a few essential tips about the camera of the S8. First off, this might be a bit obvious, but the camera app on the S8 actually offers a pretty neat way of zooming. Simply swipe the shutter key up and down. This actually allows for some very smooth zooming, which is much more fluid than the regular pinch to zoom motion. Another thing worth mentioning is how to open the different menus. Swiping from left to right will show the expanded camera app menu, while the reverse motion will display a section where the various different stamps, filters, and Snapchat-like effects are contained. Swiping up or down will prompt the app to switch between the main and selfie cam, and all of these options are the same regardless of how you're holding the phone. Now let's check out the Settings tab. There are a few things that need tweaking here. If you really want to bring out the best of highlights and shadows in your pictures, you will want to shoot in RAW format. To do that, tap on the Picture Size tab and turn on this toggle at the bottom. Video stabilization is another thing you might want to make sure is enabled, as it is essential for shooting non-shaky video clips. It is also located in the Settings tab, just swipe down until you see the Common section. Finally, another cool feature is controlling the camera with your voice. You can enable this by scrolling all the way down in the camera settings and enabling the voice control toggle. Of course, there's a lot more to the camera app of the S8, and we're actually in the process of preparing a more extensive guide that will be entirely dedicated to this area of the phone. If you found this information useful, feel free to check out our tips and tricks video for maximizing the battery life of the Galaxy S8, the link to which is in the description below. This has been Plamen D with PhoneArena. Thank you for watching and see you next time.